we've been talking about misogyny. Do young boys in school need misogyny lessons? You've heard already this morning from Jess Phillips about what she intends to do about violence against women and girls. So let's have a debate, shall we? Joining us now is feminist campaigner Venice Allan and journalist Peter Lloyd, who writes a lot about men's rights as well. So this should be a good conversation, one thinks. OK, well, we've heard a lot. Let's come to you first on this one, Venice. We've heard a lot this morning from the politicians. Misogyny lessons in schools for young men. What do you reckon?
Well, I've got two young men. I've got two sons. One's 16 and one's 18, and they've both very recently had these classes, one at university and one in sixth form. So I did ask them quickly before I came, what did they think about them? My eldest at university, it's actually compulsory at university. If you don't do the course, you have to, like, score in it. But if you don't actually complete the course, you can't continue with your degree in science. Got nothing to do with it. He said, actually, his take was that it was okay, it was obvious. He thought maybe some of his peers needed to hear it, but I'm not that convinced. But, like, he said it wasn't the worst. He said that he remembered when he was at secondary school, they did the bullying ones, which the boys and girls both had to do, the anti-bullying ones. He said they were ridiculous. My youngest son at sixth form said that, it was OK, a cool guy came in, and it was better than maths. It was a bit of a break, and this cool guy came in. It wasn't one of their teachers. I think I heard some people talking about, I think if one of your, like, female teachers did it, it would be so cringe. But this kind of cool guy came in and talked to them, and he was like, yeah, I knew it all, but maybe there were a few things I hadn't thought about before. And in this climate of pornography and... I mean, like, it's so much around that maybe some boys who aren't brought up well don't know it.
OK, well, Peter, even if it's just some chap coming into school, gets you out of maths, no bad thing.
Ugh. No, not at all.
Well, maths is pretty horrible, to be fair.
I would rather do maths than a course on misogyny, which, I'm sorry, it's just such basic bitchery. I mean, just because something happens that a woman doesn't like doesn't mean it's misogyny. We've got to stop labelling every single thing as misogyny. And for 60, 70 years now, feminism has decided that we must treat the genders the same. So why are we not having girls going through these similar courses on how they should respect men and boys? Why aren't we teaching them to reject misandry, which is rife within the feminist movement? No one's doing that. Girls' behaviour is completely unchecked. They can hate boys, they can hate men, they can hate masculinity as much as they like. Nothing happens to them. This isn't really about ending misogyny. This is about furthering feminist propaganda and programming boys.
Venice?
Well, I think, I'm going to give Peter some credit here that I think actually surrounding this whole conversation about the word misogyny is actually really unhelpful. Like, I think actually the words we should be talking about is like rape, sexual assault, upskirting, all the things that happen to teenage girls in school. Let's not talk about... I mean, OK, yeah, we can talk about the ideology behind it, but it's not really that. It's like we've got crimes that are being committed by underage kids and grown men. Let's enforce the rules that we have and make the boys and the girls aware of what is a crime and what isn't a crime and why.
I mean, I would say that's already pretty obvious, and the great irony I find in this is that Jess Phillips, aka Queen Karen, she's the one driving this regime, and she's saying that she's going to target white working-class boys. I am sorry, white working-class boys are not the problem. Maybe she should be going out and targeting gangs of Muslim men and Pakistani Muslims that rape girls. They are the problem more than white working-class boys. It's an outrage. It's so patronising that white working-class boys, who are the worst-performing demographic in schools, are targeted. Perhaps people like Jess Phillips should be focusing on their academic achievement.
Well, my kids go to school and university in the middle of London, so they're not all white working-class boys. It's actually a mixture of class and race, I'd say. But I do agree that it's crazy that the government can go on and on about misogyny and consent when they're not addressing... Because the fact is, I think your mother and your father should teach you this stuff. I don't think it should be at school, really.
Right.
And I think that there is a big elephant in the room, is that we've been pointing these cultures in where they do have, like... If we actually protect those mothers, those boys, Muslim mothers, from being, like, treated badly by their dads, that's going to have more effects on those boys in the class. If we're enforcing the crime, I'm going back to that, and we make our culture safe for women who are in these situations to show a positive role model to their Muslim sons or whatever.
But that's not going to happen if
No.
Labour are importing 40,000 savage men from the Middle
and
East
Katie
every
Now was
year.
brilliant, wasn't she, right? She was brilliant in the chamber just now, I heard it. And I agree with that. I just think there is a real problem. I think that women are at risk of sex crimes from men, but it's like, I don't think... This reminds me of showing adolescence to every child in the school.
Yeah,
What happens to that?
that was also
neither
cringe.
of my kids were shown adolescence. Good, because that was ridiculous.
I mean, I don't know how much time we've got left, but I actually said, I think your producer has got some photographs, some screenshots that I wanted to just quickly reference on screen.
I don't think we have them, Peter, but I did want to just put to you this one question, which is, yes, of course, there are cultures and certain groups of migrants that disproportionately commit crime compared to people who are born in this country. But when it comes to absolute numbers, do we also want to involve those that are native Brits? Is there a risk of talking about migrant crime to the exclusion of native crime?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just a case of being realistic and using common sense. It's madness to be targeting young boys, some as young as 6 years old, when you've got savage men coming over in dinghies who are now being convicted of sex crimes. It's ludicrous.
But we have to take issue. I mean, I've done a big feature on this for a magazine recently, and many of the young women I interviewed, many of them 15, 16-year-old, were talking about going out with their boyfriends, and many young men these days think that strangulation is part of making love.
I'm sorry, loads of women love that kind of aggressive stuff. Look, it was women who were buying 50 Shades of Grey. It wasn't men who were buying that. Loads of women love that stuff.
Would you just like to respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It was women buying that sort of quite trashy erotica novel. That you compare that one book that women were maybe getting a bit into, and you know, while they're reading, to the absolute 1/3 of the internet is pornography. Like,
pornography has existed since the beginning of time.
No, but it's gone completely different, Peter. Now it's like you say, Dawn, strangulation, rape. So a lot of it's really racist. It's like, you know, I don't even want to repeat what some of the titles that I've seen when I've been looking at, researching it from a feminist point of view. Like, you couldn't get away. It's all hate speech, and I don't even agree with hate speech.
OK, so for example, what are we going to do about in the last few years, there have been a scourge of female teachers who have groomed and raped young boys. So when are we going to teach...
We need to enforce the law.
When are we going to teach female teachers not to groom and rape young boys? Are these
what
the same
are the
teachers?
Figures, though?
They're quite substantial.
Is it? I don't know the figures. I have
They're
to say,
quite
between
substantial.
Female teachers and male teachers, opposite sex, same sex. I don't know.
Are these female teachers who are raping young boys, are they the ones who are going to be teaching young boys about misogyny? I mean, this is ludicrous. When are we going to hold women to account? Women commit 40% of domestic violence. No one ever talks about it.
Well, that is a smaller proportion than the 60%.
Yeah, but it's still incredibly substantial.
OK, well, Peter and indeed Venice, thanks so much for the spirited discussion. Really appreciate both of you coming in to discuss that.
And, of course, let us know what you think. gbnews.com/your say.